The 1980s were a time of transformation and excess in fashion, a decade that celebrated power, confidence, and the art of making bold statements. It was an era shaped by economic growth, the rise of corporate culture, and a media-driven obsession with status and success. Fashion responded by embracing extravagance, where clothing was no longer just a functional necessity, but a tool for self-expression and empowerment. This was the decade of power dressing. Broad shoulders, sharp tailoring, and dramatic silhouettes symbolized ambition and authority, particularly for women who were entering the workforce in unprecedented numbers. Designers began experimenting with bold colors, innovative materials, and futuristic shapes, reflecting a world that was increasingly fast-paced and technologically driven. Amid this backdrop of audacity and innovation, Claude Montana emerged as one of the most defining figures of the time, a designer who captured the very essence of 1980s fashion with his fearless vision and architectural approach to clothing. Claude Montana did not simply design clothes. He created a visual language that spoke to the spirit of the decade. Born in Paris in 1949, he came of age in a post-war Europe still rebuilding its identity. His multicultural upbringing, French and German influences intertwining in his formative years, fostered an appreciation for structure, precision, and an almost obsessive attention to detail. Montana's journey into fashion began in an unconventional way. Before entering the world of apparel, he worked as a jewelry designer, crafting striking pieces out of papier-mâché during his time in London. This experience gave him an understanding of form and material that would later define his work in fashion. When Montana debuted his eponymous label in the late 1970s, it was clear that his approach was unlike anything the fashion world had seen. As the 1980s unfolded, his designs became synonymous with the decade's bold aesthetic. Montana's clothing was sculptural, almost architectural, characterized by sharp lines, dramatic shoulders, and an uncompromising sense of precision. He understood that clothing could be armor, a way for the wearer to command attention and project power. His collections often featured monochromatic palettes, blacks, whites, grays, and metallics, punctuated by flashes of intense color, creating a sense of both discipline and drama. One of Montana's most iconic contributions to fashion was his use of exaggerated shoulders, a hallmark of 1980s style. While other designers, such as Thierry Mugler and Giorgio Armani, also experimented with this silhouette, Montana pushed it to its conceptual limits. For him, the shoulder was not just a design element, it was a symbol of strength, a way to frame the body in a manner that was both commanding and elegant. His jackets and coats became signature pieces, often constructed with sharp tailoring and intricate detailing that bordered on couture-level craftsmanship. Montana's vision extended beyond tailoring to the exploration of unconventional materials. He worked with leather, suede, and even metal, transforming them into garments that felt futuristic and avant-garde. His leather designs in particular became legendary, bold, fitted, and often adorned with studs or metallic accents. They exuded an edgy sophistication that appealed to a clientele seeking to stand out in a crowd. Yet despite the apparent toughness of his aesthetic, Montana's designs always retained an underlying sensuality. His work celebrated the female form, accentuating curves and creating garments that felt powerful without losing their sense of elegance. The fashion shows Montana staged during his heyday were events unto themselves, theatrical productions that reflected his dramatic sensibility. Models strutted down the runway like modern-day warriors, wearing designs that felt almost like armor. These shows encapsulated the ethos of the 1980s, larger than life, unapologetically bold, and utterly unforgettable. Montana's work attracted a devoted following, including celebrities, socialites, and women who wanted their clothing to reflect their ambition and individuality. However, Montana's success was not without challenges. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the fashion landscape began to shift. The opulence and excess of the previous decade gave way to a more minimalist and casual aesthetic, championed by designers like Calvin Klein and Jill Sander. Montana's dramatic, high-concept designs began to feel out of step with the times. Financial difficulties also plagued his brand, and despite critical acclaim, the business side of his fashion empire struggled to keep pace. In 1990, Montana was appointed as the creative director of the storied House of Lanvin, a role that seemed to promise a new chapter for his career. His tenure there was marked by moments of brilliance, including his acclaimed Fall 1991 collection, which was awarded the prestigious Golden Thimble. Yet even at Lanvin, Montana's bold vision clashed with the demands of commercial viability. His time at the house ended after just a few years, and the experience underscored the challenges of balancing artistic innovation with the practicalities of the fashion industry. Despite these setbacks, the influence of Claude Montana endures. His work remains a touchstone for contemporary designers who seek to combine structure, strength, and sensuality in their creations. The exaggerated shoulders and architectural silhouettes that defined his work can still be seen in the collections of designers like Balmain's Olivier Rousteing and Alexander McQueen's Sarah Burton. Montana's exploration of unconventional materials and his ability to infuse clothing with a sense of power and drama continue to resonate in today's fashion landscape. In many ways, Montana's legacy is a reminder of the transformative power of fashion. He understood that clothing could be more than fabric and thread. It could be a statement, a shield, a form of self-expression. His designs captured the spirit of an era while pushing the boundaries of what fashion could be. And while the industry has moved on from the boldness of the 1980s, the daring vision of Claude Montana remains a testament to the enduring allure of innovation and individuality. Waiting for your comments, and thanks for being here with me. Your Valerie.